Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, and I'm going to turn the music off before it gets going because we are going to read, or at least start reading a book today. We're not going to read one of the longer ones as there is currently a poll up in the community section on YouTube for which book we want to read next. At the minute the Iliad has more votes out of the three options, so it's the Iliad, The Sleeper Awakens, and Dream Days. So if you want to make a choice, help make the decision on which one we read next, go and check out the poll that's up. But I don't like really doing shout outs like that. It feels a little odd, so I probably won't do it again as a shout out. I'll probably just leave it as a community comment thing, and if people see it, they see it. If not, oh well. So today while we're waiting for that one to get a few more votes, we are instead going to read one of the smaller books, and one of those is Morella, or Ligeia. Probably going to go for Ligeia because it gives a couple of days for that to get some votes going, and then we can start to put up polls roughly a week before the other books finish, just to get some votes through. But for today, we're going to go with Ligeia. Although I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, so apologies there on that one. So, either way, let's get going. Ligeia. And the will therein lieth, which dieth not, who knoweth the mysteries of the will with its vigour. For God is but a great will, pervading all things by nature of its intentness. Man doth not yield himself to the angels, nor unto death utterly, save only through the weakness of his feeble will. Joseph Glanville. I cannot for my soul remember how, when, or even precisely where, I first became acquainted with the lady Ligeia. Long years have since elapsed, and my memory is feeble through much suffering. Or perhaps I cannot now bring these points to mind, because, in truth, the character of my beloved, her rare learning, her singular yet placid cast of beauty, and the thrilling and enthralling eloquence of her of her low musical language, made their way into my heart by paces so steadily and stealthily progressive that they have been unnoticed and unknown. Yet I believe that I met her first and most frequently in some large old decaying city near the Rhine. Of her family I have surely heard her speak. That it is of a remotely ancient date cannot be doubted. Ligeia, Ligeia, in studies of a nature more than all else adapted to deaden impressions of the outward world. It is by that sweet word alone, by Ligeia, that I bring before mine eyes in fancy the image of her who is no more. And now, while I write, a recollection flashes upon me that I have never known the paternal name of her who was my friend and my betrothed, and who became the partner of my studies, and finally the wife of my bosom. Was it a playful charge on the part of my Ligeia, or was it a test of my strength of affection, that I should institute no inquiries upon this point? Or was it rather a caprice of my own, a wildly romantic offering, on the shrine of the most passionate devotion? I but indistinctly recall the fact itself. What wonder that I have utterly forgotten the circumstances which originated or attended it? And indeed, if ever she, the one, and the misty-winged Ashtafet of idolatrous Egypt presided, as they tell, over marriages ill-omened, then most surely she presided over mine. There is one dear topic, however, on which my memory falls me not. It is the person of Ligeia. In stature she was tall, somewhat slender, and in her latter days even emaciated. I would in vain attempt to portray the majesty, the quiet ease of her demeanour, or the incomprehensible lightness and elasticity of her footfall. She came and departed as a shadow. I was never made aware of her entrance into my closed study, save by the dear music of her low, sweet voice, as she placed her marble hand upon my shoulder. In beauty of face no maiden ever equalled her. It was the radiance of an opium dream, an Aryan spirit-lifting vision more wildly divine than the fantasies which hovered vision about the slumbering souls of the daughters of Delos. Yet her features were not of that regular mould which we have been falsely taught to worship in the classical labours of the heathen. There is no exquisite beauty, says Bacon, Lord Verulam, speaking truly of all the forms of genera of beauty, without some strangeness in the proportion. Yet although I saw that the features of Ligeia were not of a classic regularity, although I perceived that her loveliness was indeed exquisite, and felt that there was much of strangeness pervading it, yet I have tried in vain to detect the irregularity, and to trace home my own perception of the strange. I examined the contour of the lofty and pale forehead. It was faultless. How cold indeed that word when applied to a majesty so divine! The skin rivalling the purest ivory, the commanding extent and repose, the gentle prominence of the regions above the temples. And then the raven black, the glossy, the luxuriant and naturally curling tresses, setting forth the full force of the Homeric epithet. I know this word. Hyacinthine. I pronounced that so badly. I looked at the delicate outlines of the nose, and nowhere but in the graceful medallions of the Hebrews had I beheld a similar perfection. They were the same luxurious smoothness of surface, the same scarcely perceptible tendency to aquiline, the same harmoniously curved nostrils speaking the free spirit. I regarded the sweet mouth. Here was indeed the triumph of all things heavenly. The magnificent turn of the short upper lip, the soft voluptuous slumber of the under, the dimples which sported and the colour which spoke, the teeth glancing back with a brilliancy almost startling. Every ray of the holy light... clicked extra there. Every ray of the holy light which fell upon them in her serene and placid, yet most exultingly radiant of all smiles. I scrutinized the formation of the chin, and here, too, I found the gentleness of breadth, the softness and the majesty of the fullness and the spirituality of the Greek, the contour of which the god Apollo revealed but in a dream to Cleomenes, the son of the Athenian, and then I peered into the large eyes of Ligeia. For eyes we have no models in the remotely antique. It might have been, too, that in these eyes of my beloved lay the secret to which Lord Verulam alludes. They were, I must believe, far larger than the ordinary eyes of our own race. They were even fuller than the fullest of the gazelle eyes of the tribe of the valley of Noahad. Noahad. I'm sorry I butchered that name. Yet it was only at intervals, in moments of intense excitement, that this peculiarity became more than slightly noticeable in Ligeia. And at such moments was her beauty, in my heated fancy thus it appeared perhaps, the beauty of things either above or apart from the earth, the beauty of the fabulous houri of the Turk. The hue of the orbs was the most brilliant of black, and far over them hung jetty lashes of great length. The brows, slightly irregular in outline, had the same tint. The strangeness, however, which I found in the eyes was of a nature distinct from the formation or the colour or the brilliancy of the features, and must, after all, be referred to the expression. Ah, word of no meaning, behind whose vast latitude of mere sound we entrench our ignorance of so much of the spiritual. The expression of the eyes of Ligeia, how for long hours have I pondered upon it? How have I, through the whole of a midsummer night, struggled to fathom it? What was it that something more profound than the well of Democritus, which lay far within the pupils of my beloved? What was it I was possessed with a passion to discover? Those eyes, those large, those shining, those divine orbs, they became to me twin stars of Leda, and I to them devoutest of astrologers. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. So I will say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night. And as no matter what time of day it is. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.